This is your girl Deya Direct talking to the fabulous stylist and colorist, Mattie Michelle. Mattie goes in. Mattie goes in on a lot of heads.
Hey.
Mattie goes in on my head on a daily basis and has colored me up. And Mattie, I got to tell you, everywhere I go now, people are stopping me about my color. What color is that? And I'm like, child,
Wow.
I don't know.
Right.
So before I want to talk to you about color, but before we do, what color is on my head? Let's just clear that up right now. What did you
Well,
do?
you said you gave them the right answer. You don't really know, but I mean, if I just answering technically, I would say you're in the copper, really intense copper family. So we play with you a lot, deal with your color. So we usually go between really intense reds, and then this most recent color, we just really wanted to brighten it up. So yeah, you're like in that range of really red and really copper.
Got it.
So I just call it hot.
Exactly.
It's just
I'm
hot.
loving it. I don't know. Sometimes I feel orange. Sometimes I don't know. I don't even know what color I
Right.
am these days, but it's fun. So with this,
It is, and it looks gorgeous on you.
thank you. Now,
Mhm.
I'm going through the process of becoming natural, and
Yeah.
I'm transitioning.
Girl, I think you there, honey. You are already natural.
So I'm not sure how many inches I have left on the top that are actually still permed. How permed are we?
Probably, I would say in the top area, you're probably about an inch.
All right. So
Yeah,
so
you're over half.
so my whole thing with the transition was, yeah, I did want to go natural, but I needed to be flying fabulous. So there's no way,
Right. Right.
I did not want to look like Ancient Mama and nobody knows the troubles I seen.
Mhm.
No. No, not one. No, I wasn't gonna sing no old gospel Negro spirituals looking
That
crazy.
is hilarious. Much respect to the ancestors. But
However, we got to keep it cute at all
that
times.
hair has got to be cute. Yeah, exactly.
All right,
Exactly.
so let's just talk about coloring for a second, particularly
Okay.
with permed hair, because I know a lot of
Mhm.
people are transitioning from permed hair, but in general, how do you how do you decide what's a good color for a person, and how should a person,
Yeah.
because a person may want to get color, but every color is
Mhm.
not good for everybody. So in terms of the hues and the
Right.
melanins and all that good stuff, how do you figure that out?
Mhm. Well, that's a great question, and I think that's probably the most common question amongst women. How do I know what color is right for me? Usually what I do is I go from the natural color, and then I jump up about 3 to 4 levels from there, and then I just know if we hit in that 3 to 4 level zone that you're going to pretty much be within your color family. So with you, dear, you're obviously more than 3 levels lighter, but what if we were to take your natural and take you up 3 to 4 levels, you'd be in the red family. So all we've done is take you to your family of color, and we've just kind of played with the variations of the levels. So we keep you still in the red tones. You see what I mean?
Mhm.
So just for and it also depends on the level of maintenance. I always ask the client after they ask me what color looks good on me, then we start talking about your level of maintenance and how often you want to really come into the salon and have to keep up the color. So when you work, just closer to the natural family, then you don't have a lot of maintenance. You're guaranteed to hit the target of your skin tone. It's going to grow out seamlessly, and you won't have any dryness to your hair. It'll keep the moisture.
Well, that's what I
So
really
it
wanted
just
to ask
really,
you about. Yeah, in
mhm.
terms of how to safely, how do you do color right, and what are the key things you need to do to your hair before and after you get color?
Well, you need to understand what color is, first of all, doing to your hair when you actually color your hair. So if you're going to go into the higher levels, like obviously you are blonde underneath that copper because we wouldn't be able to have you that light if not, immediately that's going to almost be a high alkaline product, almost like a relaxer. So whenever we start breaking out, high lift colors, high ammonia, 40 volume, or even lightener, we know we're going into the high alkaline range. Well, that's going to do some
Can you
damage
explain what that
to.
means? Because most people don't may not know what
Yeah,
high
yeah, and I
alkaline.
mean, and I'm using hairdresser terms, right? Because we understand that the relaxer, it kind of goes on the pH scale. So anything, 0 to 14, and we talk a lot about pH in our salon too. But 0 to 14 is going to be your pH scale, your percentage of hydrogen oxygen. So your natural, body pH is in between like in that 7 range. Well, so does your hair fall in that 7 range when it's neutral. Well, an alkaline product, meaning that it's going to be above 7, is going to be going into 7.5, 7.8, slightly alkaline. You're drinking alkaline water, maybe at 8.5. And then when you go up into like 13 and 14%, alkalinity, then you're looking at a chemical product, you're looking at a detergent, you're looking at something that's going to disrupt the surface of whatever it is. So it could be the hair or fabric if you're trying to get out a stain. So when we do bleach and when we do high lift, we're in that high alkaline range. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that in that, you understand that in that range your hair is going to be weaker. So that means you need more proteins in your hair. So with high, high color like yours, even though I don't highly suggest protein for natural hair, especially thicker textures, yours is almost kind of relaxed on the ends where that bleach is, or a little bit lighter. And so it needs a little bit of protein. So you don't really have to worry about moisture levels on the ends of your hair. But somebody who has like a darker color, they're not going to be as weak. They're going to need more moisture. So I think, like, to answer your question, the first thing would be to understand what the color that you choose is going to, what the effect is going to be on your particular head of hair.
Mhm.
Does that answer that question? So some people may need moisture, high moisture levels, meaning that you're going to have to keep a lot of water-based products in your hair to get the hydration. You're going to have to do your deep conditioners consistently once a week, once every 7 to 10 days. Definitely do your moisture mask. I have a couple of key products, but we're not endorsing those today. But I would say things that have a high water base in them.
Okay,
that's for dry hair.
So that's interesting. So, because when I use a lot of oils. A lot of people use, certain oils just to keep your skin looking shiny, or maybe to deal with your scalp. So I want to talk to you about why water based, and then in terms of moisturizing your scalp without clogging up your pores, what is the healthy thing to use?
Okay, so let's address the why water-based conditioners first, and then we can kind of go into how to really address your scalp. What water does to your hair is that it really goes in and it kind of plumps it up. So your hair is going to feel a little bit more swollen. Your curl pattern is going to really come into play because the water goes into your cuticle, which is the outer layer of your hair, and it starts to swell it up. So that's what your hair wants from the inside moving out. You want to get that water into the inside of your hair. What happens with oils, if you don't put water on it first, then sometimes the oil just kind of sits on the surface. So I always like to use a little bit of water first, open up that cuticle layer, get the water into your hair so it gets hydrated from the inside out, and then you can add in a little bit of oil so then it really absorbs into your hair beyond the cuticle.
Okay,
so I always go with water first.
Just break that down. So in a daily routine, what would this look like? I got 5 minutes to get my hair together. What should I be
awesome.
doing?
So what I would say do is go with the product, something sort of like, in my salon I use a coconut souffle by a company called Mazzani, and I really like that product because it has a little bit of oil in and a little bit of water. It's a really good balance. But what I would do is put say a quarter size of that, depending on how dense your hair is, into your hair, and you're going to feel it start to soften up. Even if you put it at your roots where you're natural, your roots are going to soften up. It's going to plump up a little bit, and then you can go in with your styling oil and really kind of go into your curls and give it a little bit of definition with the oil. That's just for your routine styling for something like what you have, Deya. If you have like a little rod set that you don't really want to submerge your hair into water, you want to keep it from day to day, then you just add a little water-based styling cream and then go in with the oil.
But we're talking about natural hair. That doesn't necessarily apply to permed hair, right?
Right. We're talking about anybody's hair that feels dry.
Okay.
Anybody that has had extreme coloring done to their hair, if your ends feel brittle from bleaching, you want to go in with that water-based product. Sometimes I grab a leave-in conditioner just to rehydrate and put the water back into my hair, a cream leave-in conditioner, and then I'll go back over it with a little bit of oil. You see? So my goal is to get the water in, put the oil on top.
Okay. That's very interesting.
So you can do that with your deep conditioners, put the deep conditioner on, your mask. So again, people who have color, you have to kind of treat it like a delicate fabric. Your hair is really delicate. So you do your deep conditioners, do your mask, and let it sit. Let the water sit on your hair for, say, 7 minutes, the water in the conditioner. Sit on your hair for 7 minutes. But before even putting it under the dryer, the water is going to open up the cuticle, which is what the dryer is for. So you can just let it sit, and then you go back over it with, say, a coconut oil. Coconut oil is only to be used as sealants. I have so many women that come into the salon, Deya, and they go, I've been using coconut oil on my hair. When I ask them, like, what kind of hydrating oils are they using? I've been using coconut oil. Well, coconut oil is a sealant, so that means that it's going to need to be on top of something in order for it to really, really be most effective. On top of
Now,
a water-based
now
product,
explain what you
only
mean
to
by
seal down.
it's a sealant. Yeah, what does that mean?
So you have different categories of oils, right? Some of them are going to penetrate and deposit more fatty acids into the hair, omega-3, something like an avocado oil, so it's a little bit more fat. And some of them are going to sit on top of the surface of the hair and really only just shine.
Girl, you making me feel like I want to eat. You talking about coconut,
They're not,
avocado.
exactly. Right. And the same way you digest those different things to get different results, that's the same thing about your hair. So a sealant means that you would just put it on top, almost like a top coat on top of your nails. It doesn't really affect what's going on underneath. It just kind of, you can see an image of still the polish underneath the top coat. Okay. That's what the coconut oil does. You are going to get the water underneath on the surface, and then you're going to top it. You're going to coat it with the coconut oil so that the color doesn't fade out.
Wow. Okay. So if there were one final tip that you would give us about coloring, as you are a colorist specialist, what would that be?
If there was one tip that I was going to give you about color, I would say be realistic, understand your texture, and know where you can safely go with color. And I would say choose a really good colorist.
Right. And if there were, so those are some do's. Are there any don'ts?
Don't attempt to do high level colors at home.
Right.
High risk coloring at home. Bleach.
Don't box it, boo. Don't box it, boo.
Don't box it. Do not box it, boo. I love it. Don't box it.
I love what you do, and one thing I will say is my hair always feels healthy, which is I think is always the scare of having that brittle feel after you get color, and it's because, as you say, there is a very intricate process. Sounds like you're doing color right now. I hear some water in the background.
I'm actually I'm at the bowl right now. But the thing is that it does begin at the bowl, and so that's what I try and institute whenever I'm coloring hair.
All right.
To make sure that
Speaking of which, is there a certain kind of water we should use on our hair?
You know what? I really love neutral water, 7.0 pH, and even in the temperature, just kind of a mid temperature, so it's not too hot to dry the scalp out.
How do you get that at home?
You're probably gonna want to get like a filtering system. Or just measure, you can use the pH strips to kind of like figure out what the pH levels of your water is at home.
Okay.
And just making sure that the water is not too hot.
Okay. Oh, so make sure, because do you use cold water to help seal it when you do color? Is that it?
Yep. After you do your conditioner, you can just seal it with a cold shot, and it's going to close the cuticle back down. So that will be your finish.
Great. So Mattie is in Dallas, and you're also in Austin. But I know you move around and you're doing a lot of different projects. So what's the best way?
I'm very mobile.
Yes. What's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
Okay. Well, if anybody wants to reach me regarding appointments or private classes or one-on-ones, they can email me at mattiecallaway@gmail.com. MATTIE. Callaway@gmail.com, and they can also go on to MattieMichelleGoesIn.com.